Hi, in today's video I'm going to be covering how to record desktop audio on Linux using SOX. SOX is a command line program like FFmpeg, but it's just for audio. It has a lot of useful features and it can record really high quality audio from the command line. So first of all, what I'm going to do is actually switch across to the terminal and run pulseaudio info. And what this is going to do is this is going to print out information about the pulseaudio setup and the default sync, and this is what we're looking for. When we're recording pulseaudio, what we need is the monitor device of the default sync, which is going to be the default sync name .monitor. And that's the first step. Is what we need to do is from this information here, we need to grab this bit of code here after default sync, and the way we do that is using this little script I wrote, and I'll come down to the important bit here, the awk section here. So I'm going to copy this code and paste it into the terminal, and what you'll see here is we're taking that pulseaudio info command and piping it into awk. And then what we're doing is we're looking for a separator, which is going to be colon space. And then we're searching for default sync and then printing the information after that. So if I just run pulseaudio info again, you'll see here what we're looking for is this line here. But we actually want to grab the code after the default sync. So again, the way we did that, pipe it into awk, search for that default sync, and that's going to give us the default output audio. So the next thing is what we need to do is change that output so that it has .monitor at the end. Basically the way we do this is by first of all creating a variable called default sync which is going to contain the name of the default pulseaudio sync. And then we create another variable called sync monitor, which is equal to default sync .monitor. And if you have a look at this syntax here, we've got the $ and these curly braces, and then the variable name .monitor. And using the curly braces allows you to append .monitor to that, because if you didn't have these curly braces, it would think it was basically looking for a variable called default sync.monitor. So that's the first step we've basically cracked, is we've got the default sync, and now we've got the default sync monitor device, and using that we can actually record any audio from the system. So next down here what we've got is an output file name, and then over here what we have is the SOX command that we're actually going to be using. I'll just do that so it's all online. So what I'm going to do now is switch across to the browser, and I'm going to open this video link, which is Night of Living Dead, which is a public domain video, and I'm going to record the audio. So I'm going to come across to the desktop and run the record desktop audio script and give it the -H option, and that's going to display the help. And basically we've just got one option we can set, which is the out file name. So if you don't give it an out file name, it's going to create a default output file name called system-audio and then the date and the time, so that it's got a unique name. So what I'm going to do here is say record desktop audio and give it the out file name of dead.wav. We're recording in WAV. You can see it started recording, and I'm going to click play, and then I'll stop talking while this actually records. Okay, so I've stopped recording there, and I can now play that bit of audio. And SOX also comes with a command called play, which basically plays stuff. So if I play dead, after a couple of seconds it should kick in. Maybe not. Here we go. Okay, so that's basically how it works. I'll just come back here. That was the video that was being played. So I'll just close that and come back to the actual script. So what we got here is this sox command, and what we're doing is we're setting the rate that it's going to record at to 44.1 kilohertz, because that's the that's most likely how the audio is going to be, as the rate is going to be if you're playing it through a browser or just a general video. It's probably going to be set to that instead of 4800. We set the bit rate to 16, and now this this section here, -v 0.99. What this is the volume filter, and what we're doing is we're pulling the volume down just 0.1. And the reason why we do that is to avoid clipping with the sox command line program. Because if you're recording something like music, what will happen if you don't have this set is that the audio will clip. Then after that, what we're doing is saying the type that we want to record, and that's going to be pulse audio. And here you can see this is referencing this sync monitor variable, which is this up here, which is the default sync name .monitor. And then what we do here is we're specifying the output type, which was going to set to WAV. And down here what we have is the output file name. So this output comes from up here. So as you can see here, we've got the get ops, and when we ran the script, we passed -o and the out file name. And basically what that does is that sets this output variable be equal to what you pass in after the -o option. So in case I just showed you dead.wav, so output's going to be equal to dead.wav. Now if we don't pass in a file name for the out file, what it's going to do, this output variable wouldn't be set. So what it's going to do is it's going to fall back to this output default variable, which is this, and that's basically going to be the default out file name if you don't set an out file. So this is basically set to system audio and the date, and this is going to basically give you the year, month, day, and then the hours, minutes, seconds. And the reason why we do that is so that it has a unique name, so that if you record another file, obviously it's going to have a different date and it won't overwrite the previous file. So basically that's all there is to it. First of all, we've got a block of code up here which displays the script usage when you pass in the -h option. Then we've got the get ops down here, and you can see we've got -o and h here, and those correspond to these options in the case statement. So if you pass in -o, this output variable will be equal to the name you set, and obviously if you just type -h, it's going to run the usage function and display the usage. And if you add a incorrect option or something, it's going to display the script usage as well. Then the next step was actually grabbing the default pulse audio sync, and again we did that by running the pulseaudio info command, and that will print out information about the pulse audio setup, including the default sync, which is this line here. But what we needed to do was grab the code after this default sync, so we had to filter that out, and the way we did that was by piping it into awk. As you can see here, we pipe it into walk, we search for stuff, we set the field separator to be : space, and then we search for default sync and then print second field, and that's going to give us the actual default pulse audio sync. Then once we'd done that, what we did was in the script we created a new variable called sync monitor and set that to be equal to default sync. And remember, the important point here is to have this in curly braces. That means we can then append .monitor to the end of that string of text, and that basically gives us the monitor device of the default pulse audio output, and that's what you use to record pulse audio from. And then what we did was we set an output default file name, so that if you don't pass in a file name, it's going to basically auto-generate one. And that's useful things like if you're wanting to script stuff. And in that case, if you're wanting to script something, you can't set the output file name for each thing you wanted to, go through and record. This makes it convenient so that you can use something like a cron job or something to set it, to record the system at a certain time or whatever, and it will automatically create files with the unique file name. And then what we did was we used the sox command, and didn't mention how to install that in a second. And what we did was, first of all, we set the input rate to 44.1 kilohertz, the bit rate to 16. And this is the important option, the -V option 0.99. What that does is that brings the audio level down 0.1%. And what that does is it stops the audio clipping. And this is especially important for if you're recording music. It's really loud. What would happen is you'd actually see when you're recording in the terminal with sox, it would give you lots of errors saying clipping. So that's the important thing. Then we set the pulse type to pulse audio, and said we want to record the sync monitor. So that's the monitor of the default pulse audio sync. Set the type to WAV and the out file name. So that's basically all there is to it. And it said to install sox, you can just run, sudo apt search sox. I've actually got it installed with nixpkgs. Okay, so you can just basically install this here, sox. As you can see here, I think this is maybe from previous install that I did. Yeah, so that's the other thing. With sox, there are some meta packages. So what you can see down here is you've got sox, the actual program. But then what you also have down here is these meta packages like format ulcer, base, mp3, oss, pulse. So from memory, what you need to do is actually install sox and libsox-fmt-all. So what you do is you would run sudo apt install sox. That's not very comedy. It's libsox format all. So that will basically install all the sox libraries that you need to record audio. And I think I've got this installed with nixpkgs. Oh, there we go. So yeah, I've got sox installed with nixpkgs, which I showed you in a previous video. But you can also install it just regularly with apt. And again, that was I'm going to delete that again. That's sudo apt-install sox libsox-fmt-all. So that's what you need to install, and then you can basically download and install the script, and then just run record desktop audio. And again, demo this again. See how quick this is. Being a bit slow. Archive.org. Okay, so what I'll do is remove that one and run it without giving it an AL file name. I'll leave that to run for a few seconds. No worries, it's public domain. Okay. Actually, I'll just leave this playing, and you can see here in the output, if it was good clipping, you'd get errors here, and this is basically like the volume level actually sort of recording at, and that's the volume of the actual audio that's playing. I don't know if I can skip ahead here in this video. Typically, videos on archive.org a bit difficult to seek, tend to take a while. Maybe it's just an OGG file as well. Doesn't like seeking. So I'll close that anyway and just stop this. So you can read more about the man page. Read more about the sox command on the man page, the man the sox, and that's going to give you all the options. And basically, as you'll see here, there's 3 commands: the sox, play, and record. And basically, record will allow you just to record your mic, so you can use it. Record audio coming in from your mic. What's also really nice is that it has effects that you can actually apply. So you can actually apply different effects when you're recording stuff. High and low passes, pass filters, equalizers, gains, all this kind of stuff, and you can chain these filters together, and you can actually put the filters in a text file, and get sox to read the filters from a text file as well. The T there. So you've got sox, which is the command we've been using. You've got play, which will let you play a file, and also it will allow you to play a file and apply effects to that file as you're playing it. So, as I said, you can apply equalizers, you know, high and low pass filters, all that kind of stuff, gain, treble, bass. You can pass the options on the command line, or you can actually pass them in from a text file as well. So this is the man page. Have a look at that, and if I play the audio, you can see here it's created the file called system audio dash, and then we've got the date and the time there. And using this simple play thing, you don't really have an option to scrub through the audio. Just a simple player that comes with sox. So if I just use MPV, well, you'll see, you know, fast forward through it. So that's all there is to it. It's quite easy to record pulse audio on Linux, and you could substitute another command for this if you don't want to use sox, as long as you've got the sync monitor. You could also use FFmpeg, so you could use FFmpeg to record pulse audio and just basically give it this sync monitor variable in the script, and it would do the same thing. But sox is actually a really good tool to record audio, and has got libraries that's supposed to have better audio quality than FFmpeg. That might actually be a better option to use to record desktop audio instead of FFmpeg or another tool. I'll put links to everything under the video, but basically it's dead simple to use. It will automatically in these couple of lines, it's going to grab the default sync name from pulseaudio, append .monitor to it so that we get the output monitor device we want to record to, set the output file name, and then run sox. And I said you can have a look at the man page to see the options that you can use, but I think this is probably a good default. And I said you're probably going to be recording stuff at 44.1 kilohertz. And the important thing is this little section here, as I said, just to pull the audio down a touch, 0.1%. And what that does is that stops any clipping errors that you'd get otherwise. So that's how you record pulseaudio with sox or any other command line that lets you record pulseaudio by basically getting the default sync name and then appending .monitor to it so you can get the output recording device you need to record from. So that's all for now, and hope that's helpful.